and country. Leadership TV for God 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 and country.
Good morning and welcome to the Thursday edition of your number one breakfast show on television inside Nigeria. We want to apologize for coming a bit behind schedule. We're experiencing some technical glitches. My name is Winifred Gwebo, and as you can see, I'm in the studio this morning and I'll be taking you on a review of some newspaper stories on cover and inside pages as well. And of course, as usual in the program, we always start off with Nigeria's most influential newspaper, Leadership. Leadership says, sorry for that, we're trying to play some messages on Leadership newspaper. Now we are taking the paper stories now. Last leadership, APC may opt for consensus Senate President Speaker. Last leadership, APC may opt for consensus Senate President Speaker. Opposition members elect form coalition to produce Speaker. NWC moves to end leadership crisis as Lukman to withdraw suit against Adamu Omishore. Opposition members elect form coalition to produce Speaker. NWC moves to end leadership crisis as Lukman to withdraw suit against Adamu Omishore. That's the leading story on leadership. Of course, there are other stories as well, and I want to be taking them one by one. Ekweremadu, now starting from the masthead, above the masthead. Ekweremadu, Senate begs UK court for clemency. Osinbajo lost journalist who authored book on him. Tinubu to Wike, if you want refund on Rivers roads, lobby me. Don't truncate Kanu suit against DSS, court warns parties. Senate approves PNB's request for 22.7 trillion naira loans. Labour Party crisis, we pardon Obi Dati for attending Abure's meeting at Papa. And because we have the picture story on leadership, we have President Muhammadu Buhari flanked by his vice, the Minister of Finance and Budget and National Planning, and yes, SGF. We have the SGF, was Mustafa there during the launch of Nigeria Agenda 2050 at the Presidential Villa, Abuja, yesterday. And of course, from leadership, we move over to the third number, page three, sorry, of the paper, and that is our stand. Our stand is on Press Freedom Day, matters are rising. Press Freedom Day, matters are rising. Of course, we also have the back page of the Thursday column. We have Ghana must go. Indomie noodles banned in Nigeria years ago. NAFDAC. And Ghana must go reply inside our stomachs. For more stories on leadership, just log on to the website www.leadership.ng. From leadership, we move over to the next paper on our menu, and of course, let's look at the Guardian. The Guardian newspaper says Nigeria to spend next 40 years repaying controversial 23.72 trillion naira CBN overdrafts to federal government. Nigeria to spend next 40 years repaying controversial 23.72 trillion naira CBN overdrafts to federal government. So it's on page 6 of the Guardian. Above the leading story, of course, we have pictures of the Senate President Muhammadu Buhari inserts the CBN governor and Minister of Finance inserts inside picture. Of course, we have the debt of 23.72 trillion naira on the table of the Senate President. Above that leading story, we have NAS leadership, Tinubu defers zoning decision after May 29. NAS leadership, Tinubu defers zoning decision after May 29. Project refund, I owe you nothing. Tinubu tells Wike during the commissioning of a bridge, some bridge yesterday in Rivers State. Project refund, I owe you nothing. Tinubu tells Wike. And above, beneath the leading story on the Guardian, we have corrupt officials sabotaging passport issuance. Aregbesola alleges. Naschima CPPE lament worsening state of economy. Senate cannot stop demolition at Lagos airport, says FG. Despite probes, official corruption undermining building control enforcement. Despite probes, official corruption undermining building control enforcement. As news and analysis on page 4 of the Guardian. Police officers, families to vacate 25 barracks for renovation. For more stories on the Guardian newspaper, also log on to their website www.guardian.ng. From the Guardian, we move over to the paper with similar story, headline story in the Guardian, and that is Vanguard. Vanguard says Nigerian Labour Congress (CUC) Trade Union Congress kick as Senate okays federal government's 22.7 trillion naira ways and means. NLC TUC kick as Senate okays federal government's 22.7 trillion naira ways and means is shocking. NLC approval creates room for suspicion. TUC we approved advances to avert government shutdown. Lawan says move will allow NANS consider pending 2022 supplementary budget as the leading story. And above Vanguard's masthead, we have forest turnover in I&E window falls 46% to $1.4 billion. Lobby me for refund, I don't owe you, Tinubu tells Wike. Oil Nigeria, four others account for over 80% of Africa's output, report. 10th National Assembly, we are working on consensus arrangement, APC. And above, beneath the leading picture on the Vanguard, same with leadership newspaper, we have organ harvesting, Senate seeks pardon for Ekweremadu. Organ harvesting, Senate seeks pardon for Ekweremadu. Sudan crisis, first batch of 400 evacuees expected in Abuja. 10th NAS will contest for rep speaker, say opposition parties. Those are the stories on Vanguard newspaper today, Thursday, May 4th, 2023. For more the stories, both house cover and inside pages, just log on to the website www.vanguardngro.com. From the Vanguard, we move over to the Punch. Punch also has similar cover story with Vanguard and the Guardian. It says 26 days to go. Outrage as Senate approves Buhari's 22.7 trillion naira extra budgetary spending. 26 days to go. Outrage as Senate approves Buhari's 22.7 trillion naira extra budgetary spending. Borrowing from CBN illegal, suspicious, say NECA LCCI economist. 22.7 trillion naira extra budgetary spending to raise public debt to 69 trillion naira. Of course, like leadership, Vanguard, and this day, we have a similar picture of the president launching the Agenda 2050 yesterday. And the Punch newspaper has story on it. It says, Agenda 2050, federal government projects $33,000 per capita GDP. Agenda 2050, federal government projects $33,000 per capita GDP. You can read more of the stories on page 20 of the paper. We have APC National Working Committee phase to zone National Assembly leadership seats. 62-year-old trader steals patient's phone in Abuja hospital. Court orders final forfeiture of 324 houses in Kano. That is on the Punch. For more stories, just log on to the website www.punchng.com. From the Punch newspaper, we move over to The Nation. The Nation says, following the president-elect's visit to Rivers State yesterday to commission some projects and bridges, Buhari said, the president-elect says on The Nation this morning, I won't marginalize any part of Nigeria, Tinubu pledges. I won't marginalize any part of Nigeria, Tinubu pledges. President-elect hails Wike for believing in justice, fairness. Port Harcourt stands still for Asiwaju. That's the leading story on The Nation this Thursday, May 4th, 2023. I won't marginalize any part of Nigeria, Tinubu pledges. President-elect hates Wike for believing in justice, fairness. Port Harcourt stands still for Asiwaju. Still on Nation newspaper, Russia-Ukraine war escalation likely. Kremlin claims drone attack from Kyiv. Labour Party threatens lawmakers elect with sanction over party crisis. Minister blames NIS for passport issuance crisis. Labour disrupts Owerri flights in Lagos, Abuja orders. Senate okays restructuring of 22.7 trillion naira unbudgeted loans. Sudan, 2 aircraft fly back 376 Nigerians. Zoning of National Assembly top post. APC targets consensus. Party to persuade members elect. National Working Committee closes ranks. And we have another story, 40% of savings in Nigerian banks now in US dollar, says IMF. Inflation, exchange rate, fuel action. These are the stories on the Nation newspaper. For more stories, you can log on to their website www.thenationonlineng.net. From the Nation, move over to the last paper we have on our menu for review, and that is This Day. This Day says, Tinubu to Wike, I owe you nothing. First request for project funding. Tinubu to Wike, I owe you nothing. First request for project refund. Describes him as dependable ally. Rivers governor seeks amendments to procurement law. You are desperate for favor, accommodation. Shehu Sani blasts Wike. At last, Senate approves 22.7 trillion naira CBN's ways and means advances to federal government, says approval to pave way for supplementary budget 2022. And of course, we have Buhari launches new national development plan, that is the Agenda 2050. EFCC, ICPC urge dismissal of Keyamo's alleged fraud suit against Atiku. We also have Sudan, after hours of delay, first batch of Keyamo's alleged fraud suit against EFCC, ICPC urge dismissal of Keyamo's alleged fraud suit against Atiku. Sudan, after hours of delay, first batch of 350 evacuees arrives Abuja. Nigerians are overly stigmatized, Air Peace boss declares. Says love for country behind rescue efforts. Laments NLC TUC's disruption of companies' operations. Well, viewers, this is the end of today's paper review on your number one breakfast show inside Nigeria. Tomorrow is another day for Inside Nigeria. Don't forget to log in. I'm Winnie for the paper. Here's wishing you a very beautiful day. See you then tomorrow. Bye.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.